When you're building a custom rig out of a wrecked Honda Accord and a beat-up Volkswagen sand chassis, there comes a point where caveman tools and scrap metal just aren't going to cut it anymore. Now I managed to bracket together the main beam, but tying this Honda transmission and engine to this round tube frame without proper brackets was turning into a total nightmare. I needed precision plates, I needed clean mounting holes, I needed something stronger than old gas pipe and wishful thinking. Luckily, one of my camera guys plugged me into a metal fabrication shop that handles all of this. So today, we're stepping out of my shop and heading over to Lift Arc Studios to get some real engineering done. Already sent them the drawings, already sent them the designs. Let's go watch them cut it and pick it up. All right guys, here we are outside of Lift Arc Studios. We're gonna go inside, we're gonna work with the owner today on getting some pieces cut out for the dune buggy. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good, man.
You're sweaty. Goodness gracious, man. You're working. I mean, it's actually a little cooler than my shop today. Now, walking into Lift Arc Studios is like stepping into a whole nother dimension, a whole nother world. If you've been following the channel, you know my setup is mostly angle grinders, crude measurements, and praying my shoes don't catch on fire. But over at Lift Arc, Tay has a world-class operation. Tay is a wizard when it comes to metal, and immediately I felt like a little kid standing next to a giant. He's so tall, I'm having trouble keeping his head in frame, so if I'm messing up the shot, I'm sorry. Like, look at the height difference.
He's just filming my chest the whole time.
I feel like a kid next to him. He's teaching me how to cut metal.
Come here, little Johnny.
It's like, okay, Dad, I'm sorry.
Hold the flashlight.
The guy is massive, and I'm pretty sure I was just filming his chest half the time. But height aside, the real beauty is in the shop and the machinery that he uses. What are you working on over there?
Well, so a large part of what we do is large-scale sculpture work.
Yeah.
I didn't make this sculpture, but I've been tasked with building a base for it, cutting it apart into its 5 individual pieces, transporting it to Richmond, reinstalling it on site. The whole thing weighs 6,200 pounds. So this was installed somewhere for a while. This is how the artist intended it. It's a 220.5 degree arc circle, not 360, but that.
Yeah.
That's how he names his sculptures. What are they and how many of them are there? Yeah. So anyway, another normal day here at this shop.
This place is like a mechanic's wonderland.
It's Fantasy Factory, man. That was by design.
Yeah.
I mean, over here is like my personal stuff.
Yeah.
And then over here is the part that makes money.
Yeah.
This side.
And an RV.
And an RV that's for sale.
Yeah, anybody want to buy an RV?
I'll make you a hell of a deal. Everyone, this is Spike. Well, I guess I should introduce myself. My name's Tay Whiteside. This is Spike Geffert.
Hey, how's it going?
Now, before we touched any heavy machinery, we had to sit down and figure out exactly what the heck I needed. In my shop, design work usually means holding up a piece of cardboard, tracing it out with a greasy Sharpie, and hoping the drill doesn't slip a ½ inch off target. But when you're adapting a K24 engine mount to a custom frame tie-in, close enough will snap your subframe in half the second you land on a jump. Look, there's my designs.
Here they are, yeah.
Look at good old Eddie's drawing. That one looks a little suspect.
It does look a little phallic, a little hot dog shaped.
That was literally just a trace of the back of the accelerator pedal.
Yeah, right. Spike digitized your stuff end of yesterday, and
To the best of my abilities.
Yeah, let's see. So it looks really good.
Thanks.
Tay and I sat down to translate through my rough ideas into actual usable patterns. And I went back and forth, taking precise measurements off the Accord factory mounting points and measuring bolt hole diameters and figuring out how to bridge the gap between the dune buggy cage and the engine and transmission itself. We sketched out bracket profiles, double-checked clearance for the engine block, and drafted templates that could be translated into CAD software. Seeing a rough idea getting turned into clean mathematical vector lines on a screen is unbelievable when you're used to doing everything by eye and by pencil.
The only ones I have questions on are on the cardboard.
Yeah,
Because this,
it's a brake booster.
well, the only problem I see, like that looks like it's that big hole centered.
Yeah.
But when I measured it,
It's not?
it's not. So I wanted to get.
Yeah, I get it centered.
Okay. on those 4 holes.
That thing centered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I figured.
That's a rough trace. I'm pretty sure I just traced that thing as well. So I think the assembly can be, that'll be fine as long as the holes, the 3 holes are aligned.
Because you're gonna weld this to the.
Yeah,
firewall,
that's going
right?
to be to a firewall plate,
Yeah.
and which I may need to get a piece of metal from you for that because
Totally.
you're cutting all the metal I have,
I've
and I'd have to order more metal.
got plenty of metal.
Once Spike, their CAD guy, nested all our bracket designs into a single layout, it was time to fire up the beast. Tay operates a 5x10 CNC plasma table made by Shop Saber.
Shop Saber is one of the best manufacturers out there because you can beat the hell out of their machines and they cost half as much as all the other ones.
Fed by a Hypertherm 105 power unit, this machine basically is the backbone of LiftArc Studios. Tay showed me some of the stuff they cut out, which is an 1.25 inch thick steel. And the cutting edge was so smooth it looked like it came off a milling machine. No grinding required. So this is gonna like open up my realm of possibilities, just having somebody like you.
Like I've been a fabricator for 20 years and cutting things by hand. And I knew what a plasma cutter could do, you know, but
That's like
I could never afford it.
very precise.
Right? I mean, here's leftovers, you know, from signs and stuff, but
I'm gonna show you put this logo on.
there's some
like the,
shelf brackets we built using the
those are
plasma
cool.
cutter with the Roanoke Star.
My wife's gonna love you. Before you hit cut though, the setup is everything. Tay walked me through how they index the steel. You lay down your plate on the slats, measure off the edges to make sure it's squared up with the table, then jog your torch head down to the bottom left corner and establish your 0 point. After that, all you gotta do is press a button.
Yeah.
So you just press.
So
There
don't
you go.
look directly at it. You can watch it through there if you want. Sickness you did?
And this way, the machine knows exactly where the steel is, and every bracket in the CAD file gets cut within absolute pinpoint accuracy. No guesswork, no crooked edges, and no drilling later on down the road to make sure it's right. That's what I'm used to.
All right, let's see what we got. You gotta go fishing a little bit.
way better. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was scared to touch that water for a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's just got a little additive in it.
Yeah.
You can start doing what we do and hang this stuff on the wall.
I mean, I might like weld that to the dune bug.
There you go.
So now we got to do the shifter and then the frame mount.
Yeah, and I think he got a couple of these out of that one.
Yeah, he did. There's 2 of them right here. Cutting the flat shapes is only half the battle. Cutting some of these subframe brackets needed precise bends to contour around the chassis tubing. For that, Tay brought me over to this massive hydraulic press built in the 1940s. Hey, you can't buy them like this
anymore.
anymore.
You can still buy these.
And that's just a bender?
Yeah, so if you have a press laying around, you can turn it into a press brake.
Yeah, we got a Harbor Freight press.
Yeah, well, if you got the power, you can do it.
There's something awesome about using an 80-year-old heavy iron alongside a modern CNC plasma table. We lined up our flat brackets, cycled the hydraulic ram, and pit the exact angle to the steel to give it the perfect offset. As Tay put it, when you're custom building one-off machine like this, there are no rules. The only real rule is that everything stays inside the cage, including the driver. That'll work fine. That looks great.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Like you said the other day when you came to the shop, there's no rules.
Right, that's right.
I'm just building it. The only rule really is everything's got to stay in the cage,
That's right.
including me. So
You're the only one that gets to say if it's all right or not.
exactly, or the
Or these guys.
yeah.
They're tough critics. Yeah, you.
Yeah,
You
so-
right there watching.
Yeah.
So if anyone's watching this that happens to have watched our channel,
Yeah.
we have like 80-some thousand subscribers.
Yeah. Well,
We
we'll put
haven't
the channel.
We haven't been. I haven't been filming videos for about 4 or 5 months, and I know there's a bunch of people out there going like, "Where have you been? Are you okay?" So if that's one of you, I am okay, and business is good. It's actually busier than ever, which explains why I haven't had time for YouTube. But
Yeah,
I love
so-
you and I appreciate you, so thank you.
I dug the bear out of his cage.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Yeah.
See you again.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, I wish I met Tay before I started this project, but I didn't. I met him right in the middle of it. So he gave me some good ideas, and he helped me out a whole lot with things I had no idea to do. like making brackets for this midpoint on the subframe. This is a Honda bracket right here with the Honda subframe, and we needed to mount it to the dune buggy frame that I built, and we needed precision cuts to do so. So he cut these 3 pieces of metal out for me, really 6 pieces of metal because he did this side too, and those worked perfectly. I was able to set them up just right. I did the measurements perfect, and he just cut them out to precision. He also did the engine mounts here, like that one right there. We cut that thing out to precision. I really had no idea what I was doing, but he did, and he made this plate for me here based off the Honda mount, and I just brought that to him. They measured it up and plugged it right in, cut it out like butter, like it was nothing. And we kind of just made some plates that fit these mounts for the trans mount right here. We kind of made those plates, and then I cut these plates out of some stuff I had laying around here. Still got some cutting to do on this. But the big deal, the big thing that he helped out a whole lot with was this brake master and the pedal assemblies. This is for the clutch right here, and getting these cuts exactly right, nearly impossible with the caveman tools that I use. So we had to use his expensive plasma cutter and CAD system to make these measurements perfect. And I actually drew these out on cardboard at first, and it wasn't good enough. So we had to bring this to him, and he measured it out perfectly and got it cut out. And now that thing just slides right on there. Bam, right on there. Perfect. Same deal with this thing. So those we'll be able to build out and build a pedal assembly right in there with. And we'll probably need his help with that as well. Sometimes you don't know what you're getting yourself into, and then you find people that help you out, and then you like start to get a bunch of ideas for everything that they can help you do. And that's kind of what's going on here with me and Lift Arc Studios. I'll tell you what, without his help, without Lift Arc Studios, this would have took me twice as long to weld in together. And if I'd have met him before I even started this project, it'd probably be already done by now because he'd have helped me plan everything ahead. But now we got to get this thing fully running and fully operational, which he should be able to help with too. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of this dune buggy project or any of the fun stuff we're going to do with this thing when we finally get it done and running, which should be in the next video we do on it. Well, all these brackets and everything, that's light work for Tay and Lift Arc Studios. For me, this is a whole new frontier. Something else they cut out for me was pretty cookie cutter style, was just this plate right here. And this goes for the shifter so I can build it out once we're ready for it. And hopefully that'll go somewhere in there and be able to move the seat back. You can weld that plate on and bolt it down. That is the Accord shifter assembly. So the shifter assemblies, that's a tough thing to get right. And basically we just need to use them for all the precision stuff because, you know, I'm not a precision guy. I'm a, you know, get it close and weld it in guy and then adjust it out with upper control arms later. That's me. There's a couple other things too. We need to mount this radiator up here. He's going to help us with that. And probably later on we'll get him the fully built out top hats for these struts and these upper control arms. That way it's much stronger steel and we can get it exactly in alignment. As you see, this one not exactly perfect, but hey, it's close enough, and we'll be able to get the alignment right with upper control arm adjustments. And it's a dune buggy, guys. Like, who cares? We're gonna put big old sand tires on this thing at some point anyway, as long as it's together. And a lot of you guys have asked me what my plans are for this rear steering assembly here. And that's exactly what my plans are. It's going to be a rear steer assembly. For now, to get this thing running, we'll probably just rig it up where the wheels stay straight. But eventually, we'll use Lift Arc Studios and their expertise to build an assembly right here where we can rear steer this vehicle, either mechanically or electrically. And then that thing will be able to crawl down the beach or get out of certain rock crawling situations much easier because these back tires will be able to turn. It's going to be really cool if I can get that done. And having Lift Arc Studios be able to help me, it's going to help me be able to do that. So that's all the plans. Subscribe so you don't miss any of it and miss, you know, us taking this thing on a jump and seeing how good my welds are. Until the next time we cut something up, make sure you work hard, make sure you play hard, and most importantly, make sure you stay dirty and subscribe. You can just call me Yeti.